Okay, so welcome to the first chapter of the project management course, and this is the introduction chapter. Now, project management is something not new, but organizations continue to work in different environments or contexts, and projects are one of the contexts that organizations work in, or say structure or way of working or doing their business. So from time to time, they always go back to some projects, or if you want to do something, they go and they form a team and they do it in a project base. Okay, so the interest with project management is continuing, and it's always renewed. Let me give you this some figures here. Now, the world as a whole spends 10 trillion of its 40 trillion تقريبا, okay, gross product on projects of all kinds, and not just IT projects, but any kind of project. Okay, so this is a very huge amount or percentage from the expenditure. So imagine that you are spending almost 25% of the total expenditure of the whole world. Okay, so this means that this something which is called project management is something very important, that it has this 25% coverage or of the expenditure. Okay, don't you agree with me? Maybe you don't. Okay, because you are interested in other things more than project management. But I will try in this lecture to convince you that this is not just an interesting field, but it is actually, it could be your future career, inshallah. Okay, so more than 16 million people regard project management as their profession. 16 million people work as a team member or member of project, or they are professional in project management. So maybe still you're not convinced. Never mind. Let me try to convince you why you need to study project management. Now, historically, IT projects had bad track, okay, of accomplishments, and this is a study by Standish Group. It was published in 1995, and these are the main highlights. 16.2% of IT projects were successful in meeting their scope, time, and cost goals. Only 16% تقريبا were able to achieve their goals, which is meeting the 3 constraints. We will come to this later, inshallah. What do we mean by the scope, time, and cost? We will cover it later. But imagine that if you have the 100%, no, all the projects, only 16% of them meet the goals. Okay, so there is a problem here, la? Okay, so we also have 31% of the IT projects will be cancelled before they even get completed. So 30% of projects are cancelled before it is completed. This is a problem. Okay, half or more than half of the IT projects will cost 189% of their original estimate. And this is another problem, that projects, they overrun their budgets. Okay, you give them 10,000 dinars. This is your budget for this project. They work, but more than half of the projects, when they work, they finish, they spend more than that. Instead of spending 10,000, they will spend 18,900. Okay, or something like this. Yeah. Okay. So this is a very big problem. Okay. So if you want IT projects to succeed, then you need to revise these. And to solve these problems, we will talk about how we can solve these or how we can reduce this kind of problems. So don't you think that this is a real problem and that you need to study project management so that you don't end up being part of these figures? Maybe someone will say, still I'm not motivated. يعني أصلا دي دراسة قديمة. This is done since 1995. Yes, you are right. This is old, so it might not be the case now, but it's not that much. And still we have these problems. Yes, the figures became better, but still there are some other problems. But okay, let us go for something else. Maybe this will motivate you. Worldwide IT spending is projected to total 3.7 trillion in 2008. Now these are new records or new say figures. Okay, so دراسات جديدة, so you can't say بعدنا this is old. Okay, an increase of 6% تقريبا from 2017 according to the latest forecast of Gartner's Incorporation. Okay, see, there is an increase in the spending on IT projects. Okay, so this is also something that you need to keep in mind. Spending on IT in general, but most of the IT expenditure are already the infrastructure, the software development, all these run through the same project management techniques. So imagine this amount of money that was spent on IT. Okay, so you should be part of that expenditure. Another study or research by KPMG. KPMG is a consulting firm. Okay, recent 2019. 70% of organizations have suffered at least one project failure in the prior 12 months. 70% of organizations have suffered at least one project failure. Okay, so it's a large number. Okay, 50% of respondents indicated that their project failed to achieve their goals. Okay, so again, half of them. نتكلم كنا 1995. Okay, now 2019 المفروض ان احنا now we learned from the previous mistakes لا, but still again we have the same issues. Okay, we fail to achieve the goals. Okay, 50%. It is better than previous because earlier only for 16% they achieved. Okay, now at least 50% they achieve the goals. 58% of organizations understand the value of project management, and this is another problem. If you don't know the value of project management to your organization, then this is a very big issue. So imagine more than half of the organizations, they don't know the value of their project management. Okay, so I believe that this is something very important, and it will motivate me personally to study project management, especially if you are working in an organization, or if you are let's say if you are a senior in the organization, then here you need to have a look at what is project management and how you can improve your techniques. But I assume that you as students, maybe are not interested yet. Okay, so let me try this last step. Maybe it will work. Do you know how much an IT project manager earns? His average salary? Can someone guess? طبعا annual salary I'm talking about. Anyone can guess? Okay, you don't want to guess. Maybe it's difficult for me to guess it. Okay. In the United States, he receives $85,794. Okay, that's annually, that's per year. Okay, so you divide this by 12 and you'll get something around 85,700. So it's around $7,000 per month, around 2000 وشوي دينار. Okay, 2,500 or something. Okay, this is in US. In the United Kingdom, it is بعد something similar. Okay, this is in pound. Maybe someone will say bad, hey, but this is in the United States and in the United Kingdom. Still not interested. أنا هني عايش في البحرين. Okay, so I live here. This is something I don't go. I don't work in US so that I get this much. Okay, let's see in GCC. Okay, in Bahrain, the average salary of IT project managers is around 24,224 BD per year. Monthly will be around 2,000 dinars تقريبا. Okay, around 2,000 dinars monthly, and these are also for the same in the same region: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait. Similar تقريبا. Okay, Kuwait is less, but UAE, for example, it's higher. So I think now this motivates you to study project management, don't you think? Well, but حتى salary is not motivating, and then there is a problem. Okay, so now let's talk about projects. So project is defined by the PMI, the PM book. They define it as a temporary endeavor undertaking to create a unique product, service, or result. So it's a unique task that you do. Now, the difference between projects, or if you want to see the difference between having a project running or doing your usual operational work that you do in organizations, we can look at these. First, projects are temporary, means that it's not continuously happening. It has a starting date and an ending date. So it's temporary. It's just we finish it and then it's gone. But in operations, it's different. Operations, organizations actually, you establish an organization for the purpose of running for the whole life. There is no stop or ending point. Okay, so that you are going to, when you establish an organization, and the task that you do, the work that you do is supposed to be running forever. Okay, so the operations in your organization are ongoing. Every day you go and you do the same thing. Okay, the accounting, every day the accounting department, they will record all the transactions and according to the accounting standards and principles. The production department will produce the products. Okay, HR department will do their usual work, ongoing work, hiring people, terminating contracts, renewing contracts, training employees, doing all these tasks. It's a continuous routine. Okay, it continues and goes on. So these are repetitive work. Okay, but in project, it is unique. You do it once and that's it. If you start another project, it will be different task, different team, maybe different structure, and so on. And projects closed after attaining objectives. There are certain objectives that you need to achieve. For example, develop a system. So the system is done, then you are done. The budget, according to a budget, so you have to achieve that budget. You don't exceed it. Okay, if you do some saving, that's fine, but it's not the case all the time. And then time, you need to finish it on time. So the objective is to finish this project on time. So these are also goals that you need to, so there's a time limit. Now, for operations, objective is to sustain the business. So your objective is to make the business running every day. Okay, so the work has to be done every day so that your organization stay in the market and be competitive. So this is the difference between project and operations. Okay, so project is a unique temporary endeavor that creates something. At the end, you have an outcome, and this outcome is unique. It could be a product, or it's a service that you provide for customers, or anything else. Maybe it's a document that you complete, like preparing a report. Your, for example, senior project report. That's your product as a project. Okay. So now from this, let us know some of the attributes of projects. Now we said that it has a unique purpose. It is unique in nature, and also it has unique purpose. So the purpose is not something that you do all the time, like what you do in organizations. It is temporary, is developed using progressive elaboration. Now projects work in like small pieces. Okay, you have certain tasks you complete until you complete the whole project. Okay, like when you are building a house. Okay, you start with the foundation, and then you lay on the bricks for the walls, and then you put the ceilings, and then you start plastering, painting. Okay, fixing the plumbing. طبعا يكون قبل painting. Okay, doing the electrical jobs, and then you paint. Okay, so this is you cannot have this complete house done by day one. No? So you need to go through these steps. Okay, and this progress will end up having the complete product, which is the house that you develop, you constructed. Okay, so this is what does it mean. Requires resources. Any project will require some resources. Now resources comes from different areas. So when we say resources, we talk about monetary resources, we talk about human resources, we talk about maybe equipment, technology. Okay, these are resources, and so on. So you have lots of resources which comes from different areas. Should have a primary customer or sponsor. Now projects need to have someone who requested this to happen, an owner of this project. Okay, and this could be a customer, or your boss, or someone, or a sponsor, someone who's funding this project. And there is a difference between the owner and the sponsor. Sometimes you might have the owner is the sponsor, he's the owner and he's providing the fund, or sometimes the owner is someone, but who pays for this project is someone else. Okay, he's funding this project. But usually they are together. So the sponsor will provide the direction and funding for the project. Projects also involves uncertainty. Now this is an important point here, because when we talk about projects, and if we go back to the history, why projects exist in the first place. Now organizations had, this is like in the 80s or before the 80s or so, but in the 80s it was noticed. When organizations were running, they were run on an operational base. As we said, it's repetitive, routine work. Okay, so for example, producing cars. Okay, you have the factory and you have this production line, so you are producing cars. Okay, it's the same car every day. Okay, you are, for example, producing Lexus car, for example, the Japanese Lexus car. So you have the same procedure to follow and produce the body, the components, and then the assembly, until you complete the car, and then it goes for testing, and then it goes for sale. You continue like this. So there is no, everything is certain, everything is clear, even if there is a complexity in work, but still everything is clear for you, and you know exactly what you're going to do and what is the outcome. That's fine. Now, organizations at that time wanted to have, sometimes they want to fulfill a need in the market, but they don't want to disrupt this ongoing production. So, for example, they wanted to produce, let us say, a 4x4 car, okay, which it was not there or known at that time, okay. The only thing that they know is that they have a normal sedan car. So now to produce a 4x4 car, we are not sure if this car will work, if this is if this idea. Is it possible that you want a car that has 4 wheels running at the same time? And it's not something normal like what we do in sedans, only 2 wheels, 1 engine, 2 wheels, and then the car moves. And you want also a car that goes into the mountains and to the mud without having difficulty in driving. So these ideas are, at that time, was difficult and it is not difficult to achieve, and it is, you are not certain if it will work or not, okay. So instead of stopping the production of your Lexus car and then work on a Jeep, a 4x4 car, then it will not work, then you are wasting your time, okay, and you stop production, and this will affect the market and your market share and your profitability and all these things. So what they did is that, okay, they say, okay, now we want to try this new product to be produced. So they instead of risking the whole production cycle, they take a certain amount and they say, they bring one of these brilliant and innovative engineers, and we give him a certain budget. We say that, okay, you have this much of amount, okay, of money. We want you to design and produce a 4x4 car where it can go through the mountains, mud, everything. It's very sophisticated features that it should have. Go and work with your team. You will give you some people to help you and work on that project. Now, because it's uncertain, we consider this amount that we gave to this engineer is forfeited. It might not come back. خلاص يمكن ما يعرف يسوي السيارة. He won't get this car done, so we lost this money. But at least our Lexus production is fine, and we are producing the cars, and we are doing good business. So the idea came like this. When you have new product development, it's better to go for projects. If it succeeds, then that's fine. I will add it to my production line. If it fails, just خلاص يلا leave it, and مثل ما نقول احنا we have ادفعت bill, okay, just خلاص, this money was gone, and we're not going to lose more than that, okay. So the idea of projects came through this way. Then it was developed and improved, and companies started to have the complete structure of their company or organization completely based on projects. We work only on project basis. We don't have this ongoing things, okay. We have something, do it, and that's all. For example, contractor, okay, you are building houses or buildings or towers, whatever. Your work is about a project. Okay, you take this building, you build it, and then that's it. You are done. خلاص. Everyone goes to another job. So this is how projects works. So the uncertainty in project is something inherited. Most of the projects are uncertain, especially the outcome of it. It's not clear, especially in the early stages of that project. Okay. But this doesn't mean that all projects are uncertain, but they have some degree of uncertainty. Okay, Especially in IT projects are very high in uncertainty, especially if it is innovative also and transformational. It transforms the business, not just doing a certain part of the, and it doesn't work as an enabler only. It's like a driver of the business. Okay. Now these are some examples of IT projects. يعني a technician replaces the laptops of a small department. Okay, this could be a project. Why? Because it is a certain task that you have to do. It's unique. You are not changing computers every day, laptops every day. Okay, it's only 10 laptops you're going to change during a certain period. Okay, certain time, and for a specific department. And طبعا these has a budget and time, and the scope is طبعا changing or replacing the laptops. So this is a project. A small software development team adds a new feature to an internal software application for the finance department. Now the finance department has a software. Now they don't want to replace the software, but they want to upgrade it, add more feature in this software. So what they do is that they form a team. Okay, this team will go and will update this feature, this application with the new features required. So this has to be in a certain time with a certain budget, okay, and specific features are specified. So this could be also called a project. Okay, a college campus upgrades its technology infrastructure to provide wireless internet access across the whole campus. The campus is now connected through wires. Now they want to move to a wireless environment. So they assign a project manager. They give him the budget and the resources required with the people, and then he goes and throughout a certain time, say 1-2 months, whatever, he is required to change all these wires. They will remove the wires, and then they will fix wireless access points, and the campus will become wireless. So this is also a project. Another project, a cross-functional task force in a company decides what voice over internet protocol, VoIP, okay, system to purchase and how it will be implemented. Now you want to buy a system. It's a project. Okay, you need to study it and to see what's in the market, what is suitable, and then you decide how to implement that project or that system. So this also could be a project. Okay, so these are examples of projects. Now let me see or hear from you. Okay, can you give me examples of IT projects? Yeah, come on. Those who want to answer, you can click on the raise your hand here, and you can talk. Come on, anyone? Yes, Nasra?
Mobile application.
Mobile application development?
Yes, mobile application development.
Yes, you are right. This could be a project. Someone type something here. Fatima, designing an organization's IT structure. Yeah, it could be a project. Okay. What else? Mohammed, or sorry, Mahmoud.
Updating the website design.
Updating website design. Yes. Okay. So this could be a project. Okay. Bad. Anyone would like to add something? Technology infrastructure. Yes. Yeah. Changing the infrastructure, which I just mentioned there. Okay, now all of these examples that I said and the ones that you also mentioned here, there are some common things, right? Can you guess what are these? Now, all of these projects that you talked about, they always have a task to do, right? A scope, something to do. Another thing is that all of them will require some kind of resource, some kind of money, okay, so cost. They will cost something, okay? So this cost is also common in all of these projects. And all of these will need time, okay? You need to specify a time frame so that you can do the work through it. So these are the three parts that are common in all projects, and this is what makes a project يعني you can use them as success factors. So we call these the triple constraints, okay? Time, cost, and scope. Successful project means that, or successful project management means that you have to meet these three goals, okay, to satisfy the project sponsor or the owners, okay? So project, we know now what's the project, but the project management is actually the process and the skills and knowledge that you have that you're going to use in order to achieve these the goals of the project by satisfying these three constraints, okay? So achieving these goals, when you talk about time, scope, and cost, if you look at time, for example, which is better, to finish the project on time or after the determined deadline, or before the deadline? Which is better, to submit the project on time or before the time required, or after the time set by the sponsor? Can you use the microphone, because I don't want to move from the screen to the
On time.
on time is best, right? Because you are meeting the what is required from you. Okay, which is better? But is it? Do you think it's better to finish before the time set for you?
Yes.
The sooner you finish, the better, right?
Yes, the sooner you finish, the better.
Yes. So yeah, again, yes, this could be. And related to the cost. Now, the cost, is it better to spend the whole budget given to you, or spend more than the budget that's assigned to you, or spend less than the budget?
To spend less than the budget.
Meeting the budget is good. If you spend less, it will be also better, because you are going to have some savings, right? But this is not necessarily right over, or it means that this is success. Because spending less doesn't mean that you made savings. Maybe you spend less because there are some tasks that you didn't do, or some features in the system that you didn't do. That's why the cost is less. So it's not always good to have less money, but in general, yes, the less money you spend on the project is the better. Okay, for the scope, again, the same thing. Now we set certain specification or certain features in, let us say, a system, as a software, okay? Say mobile application, okay? So now you set these features. Now, which is better, to give me these documented or agreed upon features, or to give me more features, or to give me less features? Which is better?
It's better to give the agreed upon and more than agreed upon.
Yes, you can give exactly what's agreed upon. You can also give more features. But again, here we have a problem. Sorry? Can you repeat? Okay. So there will also will have another problem here in scope, because when you talk about scope, the features that we agreed upon, for me as a sponsor or as an owner, if you give me more features, okay, with the same cost, طبعا, this could mean that if you stick only to the features that we agreed upon, the cost will be less. So why you didn't save me money, okay, and give me what I expected only, not more than what I expected. So here you have problems, and that's why in projects, maybe you want to surprise your owner or your manager or whatever, the sponsor or your client, that, oh, see, we gave you more features, okay? It's not always the case. Especially owners or sponsors, they don't like surprises in project, okay? You have to be clear from the beginning, and you have to stick to whatever is agreed upon. So although more scope is better, but still it's not always good, because sometimes it could be something unfavorable for the organization or for the owner or client of the project. Okay. And so now I think this is clear. So the time, it is the time required to accomplish the project. Okay. The cost, it is the amount of money or the budget allocated for the accomplishment of the project. And the scope are the features or the tasks or the activities that are going to be accomplished throughout this project. Now, project managers will have a very difficult, job to do related to these triple constraints. Now, you need to balance, successful projects need to balance time, cost, and scope. Now, balancing is very important, but when you are on a project, you should know the priorities of the owners or the client for this project. If the project owner has the priority for the project owner is on cost, then you should make sure that the cost gets the highest attention in your project and gets priority among the rest of these constraints. Here, this matrix called project priority matrix, it is a matrix that help you before you start a project to understand the priority of the project constraints, and you decide from here, you know what is required and how you manage and balance these constraints. Now, you have three things related to any change that happens to these time, cost, and scope. So here on the left, you see time, cost, and scope. These are the constraints, okay? And here, these three columns, these three titles here, accept, constrain, and enhance, are your actions related to any change that will happen to these three during the project, okay? So the priority is based on these. So for example, if I give you a priority matrix that has this kind of okay, so here, what does this mean? For this project, the change in time is accepted, means that the unfavorable change. Now we're talking about the unfavorable change, a change that will affect the project. It will delay it, or it will increase the cost, or it will have less features. Okay, so here in this case, the change in time, the unfavorable time, change in time is acceptable. Yani, what does it mean? The project, for example, you have a project for 2 months. Now, this project is set for 2 months, but if it goes for 2 months and 1 or 2 weeks, that's fine. We can manage it. So a change in the time that we agreed upon is accepted. Okay. For the cost, it says constraint. What does this mean? The cost is set for, to say, 20,000 dinars for this project. Now, if it is constrained, this means that you have to stick to this budget. You don't exceed it, so you don't come in this area, so you don't spend more than what is required or set. And also, we don't want to have any savings. This is called enhancement. Okay, we don't want you to keep any savings. I gave you 20,000. I want you to spend it all on this project because I know that all of the components will cost this much. If you reduce the prices, if you reduce the budget, then this means that you're going to reduce the quality. Okay, so I don't want you to do this. That's why we gave you or we constrain the change in cost. So there are no changes in the cost. The budget as it is, no more, no less. In terms of the scope, okay, here, this tick here means that you accept scope and favorable changes. Means we accepted or we agreed upon an application, a mobile application that will have 10 features. Okay. Now, if you cannot make these 10 features, you can, yani, if you have some difficulties, maybe you reach 6 or 7 of them, it will be fine. Okay, 7, 8, then it is accepted. Okay, so here, this priority is accepting the unfavorable changes to the scope. Okay, and so we needed 10, but if you make 9 or 8, that's fine. Okay. Okay. why we accept less? Maybe because you don't have time. Okay, to complete, or maybe the budget. If you don't have time, because here we have these we have flexibility in time, so it won't work. But for this example, in terms of cost, you don't have much money to spend to complete the project for these scope, for these 10 features. Okay, you need to stick to the cost. So this is one thing here. Let me see another example. Okay, now I will use the eraser. I'll erase these. Let me do this. Let's say that something like this. Okay. Now, this example suggests that this project will we set a time for it, say 2 months. But again, if we have 1 week, 2 weeks more extra, you need more time, it's okay, we can extend. Okay, so this is the change to the time, the unfavorable change, the time will be accepted. Okay, in terms of cost, the cost, if you require more than agreed upon, we say 20,000 dinars. But if you need more than that, we are flexible. 10% more, it's okay. Then we can accept. For the scope, enhance means that if we agreed upon in the beginning that to provide 10 features. If you can make them 12 features, but you can add 2 more features, then this change will be accepted because it is enhancing the project. So we accept this. Okay, so this is what these 3 ticks mean in this priority matrix. Okay, now let me again erase these and let me hear from you. Okay, I'll draw something and I want you to tell me what does it mean, or explain it to me. Enhance. Okay. Can someone now tell me what does this priority matrix mean for this project? Come on, I need you to participate. Can someone explain? And then I need to pick someone. Yes.
For time, even if we take extra time, it's fine.
So for this project, if we take extra time, it's fine. Okay. Then what about the cost?
Cost is, I think you need to be limiting, you need to be getting done with everything under the cost given to you, the money given to you.
Okay. Just stick to the same budget. You don't exceed or you don't spend less. Okay. And the scope?
The scope is the same. You stick to whatever is agreed upon.
We don't want more features or less features, right? We want 10 features, 10 features, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Your name? What's your name? What's your name?
Fatima Afnan.
Fatma.
Yes.
Okay, Fatma. Thank you, Fatma. For the first part, for the time, it's not what you explained, but the second, the cost and scope, that's fine. For the time, here it is the opposite. The time here, how do we enhance? Remember when I said which is better, to finish on time or before the time that's set? Finishing before is better, so that the favorable case in time is to finish before. So the change in time, what does this mean here? The change in time, if it enhances the project, how it enhances? If it is something favorable, right? If it gives you the project in faster time, shorter time, okay, then this will be accepted. So here, what does this mean is that if you are going to change the time, you are going to finish the project earlier than the time that we set, then it is acceptable. Okay, you got the difference between the accept and the enhance? Accept is used for the unfavorable situation for each of these. For the time, the unfavorable is to exceed the time. For the cost, it's to exceed the time, the cost, sorry. But for the scope, the unfavorable is to have less scope. Okay. For the enhance, it is better to have the project in less time. If it is here, the cost should be, if it is enhanced, it should be less than the budget. And for the scope, if it is better, then it means that you need more features than one. Okay, so so these two goes with the same direction, but this goes the opposite all the time. Okay, and here for the, I'll try to type with the mouse. It's difficult actually.
Doctor, what if taking extra time is enhancing the project? How will we represent it?
The time?
Yes.
How it enhances the project?
Yeah,
if
like
you
if we
finish,
take extra time and it enhances the project, then how do we represent it?
if you are taking extra time than we set, what we set or we agreed upon, then that will be in the accept. So this, you accept the change and you are changing the time. Now we're not talking about enhancing the project scope or quality. We are talking about the time. Here, enhancing the time. Enhancing the time is either you finish on time or on time constraint. Sorry, if you want to enhance the time, you have to finish before the time that we agreed upon. That's enhancement. The cost, if you want to enhance the cost, you have to spend less than the cost that we agreed upon.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay. And here, this unfavorable change. Next time I'll try to connect my iPad so that I can use the okay, and this is favorable. Sorry for the handwriting. I'm trying my best. Okay, so this is F. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if it's a favorable change, or type change. Yeah, so. Okay, if it's favorable change, then it goes here. Here, if it is unfavorable. Okay. Okay. Now we have some terms here we would like to go through. Also, project managers. They work with sponsors, and they actually take the project with the team, طبعا, and they try to meet the expectation or the goal, okay, set for the project. So we call them project managers. Now there are also the program managers. Program is actually a group of projects that are related to each other, and when you work with them, or when you perform them all together, you get benefits that you cannot get when you perform them individually, one by one. Okay, separate. So we put them all together in something called a program, and we have a program manager, not a project manager, a program manager who will oversee this program, and he will coordinate all the projects together so that you finish them on time and achieve the ultimate goal of that program. So this is the differences here. We also have the project management as a concept here also. It is the application of knowledge. I already explained this earlier. It is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the requirements. So this is the process of managing the project. Okay, there we talked about project only, the project as a concept, but here the project management. Okay, and we talked about these three constraints. Your aim is to balance these constraints: time, cost, and scope. One more thing I didn't talk about here when I talked about the projects. Yeah, project managers. We have project program managers, and we have also portfolio managers. A portfolio, project portfolio, is a set of, or it's all the projects that a company or an organization is performing. Okay, so it's like a basket of all the projects that are undertaken in an organization, and this basket can have projects, and also it can have programs. Okay, so it's like a complete, or it's the umbrella that all these projects are under it. Okay. In project management, we remember the problems that we talked about earlier, that projects fails, some projects overrun the budget, projects are, we don't know exactly what to do in the project, or some organizations, they don't understand what is project management. So for this, there are several attempts from several regulating bodies, or say bodies, not regulating, but bodies like PMI or the APM. PMI is the Project Management Institute. It's an American institute, and there is also the APM, the Association of Project Management. This is a British organization. These organizations, they have many project managers, experienced project managers, professional. They try, with all of these knowledge, all of these people, to make things easy for the project managers. They put all of their knowledge and their experience in a set of, say, guide for project managers. They call this the project management framework. This framework is used as a set of standards, or as a guide for the project managers to manage their projects. And in this project management framework, it has 10 knowledge areas. Now, this is an old diagram. I didn't change it in the new slides. I will change it later. Okay, so we have 10 knowledge areas, because earlier they used only these 9, and this now is considered an area as well, so it should be 10. So these areas, 10 areas, first is the stakeholders' needs and expectations. You need to understand, as a project manager, you need to understand the project managers. What do they expect? What do they want? How to manage them? How to deal with them? So this framework will guide you how to manage your stakeholders. It also has these knowledge areas. It is divided to two say groups. We have the core functions or core knowledge areas, and we have the facilitating knowledge areas. Now, the naming here, it says core functions or core knowledge areas, doesn't mean that these are more important than these down here. Basically, everything here is important, but we call these the core because they are related to the scope, time, and cost. And there's also another constraint, which we call it the quadruple constraint, the quality. We mentioned these 3, but also we have quality as well. It's also considered as one of the core areas or constraints. So the knowledge areas here are divided, as you can see here. We have scope management, time management, cost management, and quality management. These are the core. And then you have the facilitating functions or knowledge areas, which is the human resource management, communication management, risk management, and procurement management. By the way, human resource management is now also updated. So now we don't just consider human resources, we talk about all resources. So it is resource management. Okay, so it's all the resources. In the book you will find the updated one. This is because from I think the 6th edition, sorry, the 6th edition, they had 9 areas and these changes. From the 7th edition, they made them 10 knowledge areas and then they modified them, but it's just small modification. Okay, so these are, so now we knew that the framework has these stakeholders, these knowledge areas. These 4, and this is the 9th knowledge area, which is the project integration management. Now, you need to integrate all of these areas so that you achieve project success. You cannot focus only on scope and ignore the others, or focus on risk management and ignore cost or quality or like this. You have to give attention to all of these knowledge areas in order to succeed, to reach to a project success. But also there is a part here which is the tools and techniques. You need to have the proper tools and techniques to help you to manage all of these. Many areas are here, so you need to use proper technology and techniques to achieve this. Okay, now this is what we call the project success. Okay, it is a single project success. Now, if you are an organization and you have many projects, you are working on a project-based business model, then you might have several projects. Now, the success that you achieve in each of the projects that you have will lead to the enterprise success. Your enterprise will succeed if you succeed in all of these projects. So all of these, I will try to draw this here. So all of these, if you did them for the first project, and then you did the same for the second project and third project, okay? So you succeed in the first, you succeed in the second, you succeed in the third, okay, until the fourth, then you have an enterprise success. And this combination or this group of projects is called project portfolio, okay? So this is the project portfolio of this enterprise, okay? And this the organization will focus on not these tiny things within each project, but it will look at the whole performance of these projects. This will be coming later. Okay. Now, stakeholders are the people who are involved in the project, or they might be affected by the project, okay? And this is a list of the project stakeholders. So it could be the project sponsor, those who are going to fund the project, the project manager, the manager who is going to manage the project, okay? The project team. The project team is also part of the project stakeholders because they are involved in the project. And we have the support staff, although they are not under the project structure, but they are also part of the project stakeholders. What do you mean by support staff? And for example, you are running projects in the organization, but you have the HR department or the finance department, okay, where they pay you the salaries, or they do they maintain the budget for the project, or the purchasing department, where they will purchase for you all the equipment that you want to use in the project. So all of these are also are also part of the project because they will affect your project. So you need also to know them and to manage them. Customers, if you are an organization and you are doing projects for clients, then your clients, your customers, are also involved in this process, project management process. The users and customers usually are the same, but we distinguish between them. Customers are some users of your product or application, whatever, from outside the organization. But the suppliers, the users are those who are employees who are going to use that system, and they are within your organization. Then you have the suppliers, and these are also stakeholders because they are going to supply you with the equipment, with the license, with whatever you want. Maybe you're producing some products, you need raw materials also. So they will affect the project. If they delay the supplies, then you will be delayed. So they are part of your project. You need to manage them also properly. And the last one here is the opponents to the project. The opponents of the project, those who are my enemies or those who are my competitors, they are also considered stakeholder. Yes, because if you don't manage your competitors or your opponents well, then they could affect your project. They might stop your project. They might do something that will harm your project. So you need to be careful even with the opponents of the project. So you need to know how to manage them and at least stop their harm to your project. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these are the core, if you can see here, and down here there are the facilitating knowledge areas. And knowledge area is, and when we say knowledge area, it's the competence that you should know about certain area, like the scope or the time or cost, like this. Okay, and as you can see here, I have these knowledge areas divided, and we have this statement here that they are all important. You cannot say that this is not important or this is not. Maybe you see that we cover only these first, the core functions in this course. We're going to cover only these and risk management, but this doesn't mean that these are the important ones and these are not. But because we have limited time, we cannot cover them all. But we will focus on these, and then the rest, it will be easy for you to study or read about if you wish, if you want to continue studying, and if you want to apply for the certification as well. If you want to sit for the exam, of the PMI, we'll talk about it back later. And the tools and techniques, these are that will help you as a project manager to manage all the aspects of the project. And these are some examples. For example, project scope, project charter, and scope statement, and the work breakdown structure, WBS, are techniques and tools used for managing the scope. Gantt charts, network diagrams, critical path analysis, critical chain scheduling, all these are techniques and tools that you can use to manage time. Cost estimates and earned value management are also techniques that you can use to manage the cost. Okay, so these are tools and techniques. So the better you use them, the better will be also your project or the chance of succeeding in your project. Super tools. These are like more sophisticated tools. Software for task scheduling, like project management software. You will use these later in the practical part. Scope statements, requirements analysis, lessons learned, reports, and there are lots of tools that will help you to manage this or to document these things. Okay, you can also, as a project manager, you need to use these tools and technologies so that you become more productive, more efficient in your work. Okay. Project success. Project success can be looked at from different angles. Since the project management discipline started and organizations started to use project management as a technique or as a tool to produce their new development, new product development, NPD, they focused on these three constraints: scope, time, and cost. So if you meet these three goals, then you are considered successful. But this is not always the case, because you might succeed in meeting the scope, time, cost, okay, for that product that you come out after the project, but the sponsors are not satisfied with it. Okay, so this could happen. For example, you are required to develop or to produce a phone, a cellular phone, okay, smartphone. And the sponsor or the customer, they gave you certain features that they want in the application, in the mobile application, or mobile, sorry, the smart mobile phone, and they wanted to be produced within, let's say, 6 months, and with the cost of, let's say, 100,000 dinars, okay, something like this. The project will cost this much. So based on your experience in working in projects, and you started and you developed and produced this smartphone according to the specifications. They gave you some specifications about the speed and power and all these applications available in it. And okay, you provided all these, and you finished this in 6 months as agreed upon, and also you didn't exceed the $100,000 or dinars that they gave you. Okay, so now according to this first the first criteria, that you are successful. But when you handed this smartphone to the sponsor and they looked at it, they said, okay, it has all the features that we requested, time, you finished on time, and you didn't exceed the cost, but it is very heavy or it's large. Okay, we wanted something very slim, because when you start, they won't tell you this, but for example, if you want to sell it, it's not sold. People are not buying this phone. The reason, when you investigate, you saw that, okay, you provided good features, but this phone is not selling because it is very heavy or it is very large. Okay, people want small, slim smartphones so that they can put them in their pocket. So here, although you did your best and you met these constraints, but still your customers are not satisfied. So this means it's not a successful project. Okay. Another thing is that the result of the project met its main objective, such as making savings and all these things. Okay, sometimes the project meets the scope, meets the time, the cost, and the sponsors are satisfied with it. But the problem that it is not meeting some certain criteria, like it is not saving the company's money, for example. So again, here we can consider this as a failed project, because although the customers are satisfied, you met all the constraints, but we didn't benefit anything. Our main objective, to reduce the cost or to improve the quality, it's not achieved yet. Okay, so here again, this is another criteria that you have to keep in mind. So project success means many things. Okay, so you need to be very careful in the project to know exactly what does success mean to your sponsors or to the customer. Okay, what does it mean to your project to be successful? To be decided and documented in the project charter in the beginning, so that you don't deviate while you are working on the project. Okay. I think we exceeded the time, so I'll stop now here, and we will continue, inshallah, next time. Okay, so